G'day, mate. Pull up a stool and let us tell you a classic Australian underdog story. It's about a couple of blokes who've started one of Australia's most popular beer brands.
In 2013, Hep and I moved in as strangers and quickly bonded over a common theme, enjoying beers. But we struggled to wrap our lips around a beer brand that was everything beer meant to us, celebrating mateship. We would never have started Your Mates if we didn't have big dreams, but I would have never dreamed that we would be standing here in a 2,000 square metre shed with 20,000 litre tanks, packaging thousands of cartons a week, a team of 12 people in the brewery, helping us make a beer that I came up with the recipe on some really shitty pots and pans.
10 years ago, just moved in with McGarry, quit our jobs, started working the local bar that my brother had just taken over, and just thought it was a great idea to build a bar at our own place because we need more places to drink, obviously.
We were both just at that point in our lives where we were looking for something different and wanting to do something that we were passionate about. We both caught the beer bug. Thought we were going to open a craft beer bar originally. That conversation, that question just kept coming up. Well, how hard could it be to start our own brewery, make our own beer, make something that we love?
Built that makeshift, I don't know what you call it, but essentially a brew kit, and started holding parties at our place. Brewed the original first beer, which I still claim to this day the first Larry, but I haven't been invited back on the brew deck.
The first time we set up our plastic pots and pans in the garage in the scrapyard bar in Moffat Beach, I started the brew, underestimated exactly how long it was going to take. I had to go to work. And so I entrusted Hep, gave him some really strict instructions on pour this in here, move this over here, put yeast in here, close this up and let it go. Yes, Hep was the original founding Your Mates brewer, but I never let him near the brew house ever again. Life for Hep and McGarry back in the early days of building Your Mates and coming up with how to build a brewery and how to brew a beer was pretty wild. We were earning $600 a week working at the bar. 300 bucks of that was going into the business, and 300 bucks of that was paying for our rent, our food. Luckily, we were brewing shitty beers that we could drink for free.
The next step, I remember we saw a little 60 square metre shed in just around the corner in the industrial area at Moffat Beach, $650 a month, which was like, yeah, we can afford that. And that was it, extremely tight budget. So in the end, if we could brew and drink and consume our beer, and the boys would chip in 20 bucks for all they could drink, that would pay for the shed and make it worthwhile, I guess. Everything stems into mateship, 100%. A lot of my mates are tradies, so my mates literally would just come in, just go, what do you need? I still remember when we got a second-hand cold room for free, said you can have it if you get it out of this room. I'm like, sweet. Got 18 boys there. We literally had a 10-man lift it up, and it was obviously powered by Your Mates throughout the day. With my close mates, it's always been, it'll come around. I'd got a lot come around in those days.
That time you should have some beers, have
I still remember that cold room was before Your Mates. Yeah, and then we were like, well, who are we? What are we? We didn't know. We just had to put a name on the ABN to register the company. So, a few beers, a few weekends on the beers, sitting around on the blue futon, and it was like mates. Like mates was really kept coming back. And I remember it was like our mates and then Your Mates, and then we said it twice each, and it was just like, that's it.
In the early days, we could only brew 50 litres at a time. To get any kind of volume together, we had to do what's called contract brewing. So we took our recipe of Larry that we'd spent 2 years developing. And we tried to find someone who already had some stainless steel to brew that beer for us.
So we approached a bloke named Bert. He moved from Bavaria where there was a brewery every 1.2 kilometres. Looked on a map, where is there no one? Baffle Creek, Queensland. Feel really rude to not continue drinking with Bert till 4 a.m. and we got up at 5:30. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But Gary, being there, learning to brew and literally passed out all day, hungover. So we didn't learn too much, but he did brew us beer.
We got an opportunity to do what was called gypsy brewing. So instead of us taking our recipe to another brewery and their brewer doing all the work, gypsy brewing is basically the brewery lets you hire out all of their tanks. It was then up to me to go to the brewery and brew the beer. This particular brewery didn't have enough electricity to run the brewery during the daytime, so I would turn up there at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was a 20-hour job to brew a double batch of Larry back in those days. Me up in Mullaney by myself thinking, what the hell have I gotten myself into here?
I was out selling beer, I was doing accounts at the time, delivering beer during the day, just doing things the hard way, like hand cutting decals and painting them, then sanding them back and then glossing them, like just doing shit the hard way. Every beer that we sold, every keg that we sold would lose money. And this was, 5 years later, 4 years later, like how long can we continue working 90-hour weeks to sell a product that you lose money on? It gets pretty tiring after a while. Then an opportunity arises and that was like, righto, back on, you get revitalised again and re-energised to go hard again. So we found a little dive bar. It was actually a room that it hadn't been opened up in 30 years.
Was anyone going to come up an obscure little laneway in Nambour? We didn't know, but it meant that we could stop working at someone else's bar and we could work at our own bar, and creating something that was, you could have in a laneway in Melbourne and you'd have a line up down the road.
At that time, we were pitching to venture capitalists. We applied for Shark Tank and they called me up and they said, hey, do you want to come on? I was like, oh yeah, we'd be pretty keen. Righto, well, you got to air times in 2 weeks. And we were just like, holy shit.
Pep, I and Larry went on the Shark Tank. One of the most nerve-wracking business experience of our business lives, of our lives I think, was walking up to those 2 doors 10 times, and then they said on the 10th time, we're going to open the doors, you guys go stand on the square, there's going to be the 4 sharks or 5 sharks sitting in front of you, about 10 metres away.
And I said to Gary, we've got to fucking staunch these guys, we've got to look them straight in the eye. Doesn't matter how nervous we are. We've caught up with Steve and Glenn since then, and really good guys, really straight shooters.
We didn't make a deal with the Sharks, and I think it was probably the best thing that we could have done. Bringing the people who did finally invest and help us build this brewery, all friends, family, locals here on the Sunshine Coast, real people, because those guys who did invest, if they weren't friends, if they weren't family, they definitely are now.
We raised $1 million. Sold a big chunk of our business, but we knew it was a make or break for us to go to that next step. Ripped in again, built the hospitality side of the business. It was McGarry and I and a part-time marketing guy went to 26 full-time staff in the space of a week. Yeah, we're both in the brewery. He was putting together a really, really small brew kit at the time. I was trying to fit out a pub, and we literally opened 21st of December, trying to get open before Christmas. So that was kind of a really quick timeline of what Your Mates was and how it became to be the brand that it is.
Everyone wants to see their friends happy, and all of my friends, all the Heps friends, they're in the DNA of this company, and they just don't know probably how much of a big part of Your Mates that they are. They are here, they are in this beer, and without them and their support, we could have never done it. So we did it. It's 2019. We built our dream brewery. We go through a year of some massive growth, some massive milestones, and 2020 comes along and pulls the rug out from underneath us. COVID happens.
Obviously our team were kind of stuck by, so I remember we lasted like 3 weeks. The welfare package came out. 100% of our staff came back to work to rip in. The first year we actually didn't go into Gabs, and we got voted 107 out of all of the beers in Australia, which is, I don't know, there's thousands of beers. And it was just like, whoa, that was pretty cool. So the next year we entered, and I think we did some weird little video. We got voted number 13.
Next year, same thing happened. Top 10 though. So we ended up getting number 6, and then number 5, and then number 3. So we've now been in the top 5 beers the last 4 years, and it is absolutely so humbling for the little brewery on the Sunshine Coast to be up there with those guys, with those huge volume breweries.
Growth and expansion, that was always on the mind, because we knew we couldn't satisfy what the demand was for our product. Like, that was always the number one problem, was we didn't have enough beer. Like, no matter how much we brewed, how many more tanks we could squeeze into the space, it was always, we don't have enough beer. Next door came up, and it was like, again, the perfect opportunity. We were talking about expansion, talking about where it would be. Was it going to be in Coolum? Is it going to be in Aura? I never ever call McGarry after 6 o'clock. It's kind of one of those unspoken rules. He's like, who's died? I said, mate, next door is, it's available for lease. So that was that kind of game-changing moment for us to, again, pull together a business plan, a business idea, and kind of decide how we're going to raise this. And equity crowdfunding was just getting thrown around for about a year. And do we open it up? And it was like, you know, how many other mates are there out there who are keen to jump on in this journey and believe in the beer, believe in the, you know, in the vision of what we have. Let's open it to the public, crowdfund the expansion. We raised $2.5 million in an hour and a half. Like, I had my 2-month-old baby, sorry, 2-day-old baby in my arms, like click and refresh. Chantel's stitched up on the couch, and I'm like, we've just raised $2.5 million in an hour and a half. And that was one of the most surreal moments. And I got McGarry on the phone, and he's crying, and it was just like crazy. It's grown past our circle of mates. People love it. People embody the values in the mateship side. Build what you love to do into your business, and traveling around and showcasing beers and shouting beers around Queensland. What better way to do it than out of a nice big truck that can go off-road and a vessel on the water. We organised a trip around Queensland, a 3-month trip, 15,000 kilometres, 33 pub shouts. Every pub I went to, I shouted 100 schooners. It was an amazing way to meet people and see Queensland. I'm born and raised on the sunny coast. I've got Stradbroke Island an hour and a half away. I've got Moreton Island, half an hour boat ride. For surfing and fishing, I didn't venture too far north. Queensland, you can go to any town. Yeah, someone might be a little bit looser and have a beer a little bit earlier during the day. They all respect your values, and every single person would happily take the shirt off their back for you if you needed it. That's Queensland to a T. Can you say pest? Pest. Yeah. The mission. It is the same, just now it's been articulated in word format, which is inspiring mateship and connecting people through good beers.
Yeah, in the beginning we were just trying to do a good brewery. We were just trying to be like, how could we be the best brewery that we could be?
We wouldn't be in a position we are in without the help. I don't know, like, it's just the support really of our community, however big that is, pretty bloody solid now.
As we become a bigger business, like there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that, and we want to be making sure that we're paying back all the support that we've received over the years, which is why we started a not-for-profit last year called the Mateship Foundation, so we could channel all that work we'd already been doing with Meats for Mates, and then that way we can make a bigger impact with a few charities that we align with. That Bowls Day this year was absolutely epic. I mean, the Bowlsy is a new part of our business. Again, pinch yourself moment. How much are we just living the dream that anyone would just sit there and go, oh, that would be fucking awesome. Having a brewery, having a Bowlsy, how good.
Just need a golf club now. We've got them all ticked.
Surfy wouldn't be
Oh,
bad either.
surf club. Holy.
But we're not greedy. We never got into this business to be the richest guys. And how fucking lucky are we that we still do get up in the morning and absolutely love going to work.
10 years of your mates, it's been unreal. It's been a crazy journey, a crazy time of good beers, good mates and good times, and excited to share the next 10 years with plenty of more mates out there in our wonderful nation.
Yeah, cheers to all the mates who have helped us get here so far.
Cheers,
and
mates.
Cheers to all the future mates for the next 10 years. Can't wait to meet you and bloody have a beer with you.
Go and support your local bottle shop and your local pub. Drink good beers.
Cheers!
Cheers, mates.